Girls, acne, homework, supervillains. When you're a teenager, it helps to be invincible. This comic is a request from Matt Lipton, and hopefully I do the justice he wanted with it. Become a patron to make your own suggestions. Warning, massive spoilers for Invincible incoming. You've been warned. On with the show. Invincible number 1. Flying over a snowy tundra of nothingness, Invincible, our titular hero, throws a man with a bomb vest. He sighs and flies back nonchalantly. Wow, great start to seeing what sort of teen hero we have here. But my biggest pet peeve rears its ugly head as we jump back 4 months to a nice slice of average America, with Mark, that's the alter ego of Invincible, on the can reading a comic book. Just lovely. His mom pounds on the bathroom door thinking he's bouncing his bunny instead of getting ready for school. But he gets ready with time to spare as he sits down for breakfast in front of the TV, where they see a news report about Omni-Man fighting a dragon-like monster in Taiwan. Mark's mom, Deborah, comments that she hopes that her husband, Mark's dad, brings back something nice for her since she's never been to Taiwan. Yep, Omni-Man is in fact Nolan Grayson. After school, Mark has to turn down hanging out with his friends to go to his job at Burger Mart. At the end of his work shift, he's taking out the trash and throws one of the bags high into the air, with an about time from Mark. Then we cut to him and his mom sitting down for dinner. Deborah says that they should just start eating because Nolan may be late, but he whooshes in and apologizes since there was an enchanted flood in Egypt he had to stop. Debbie tells him that the publisher called, so Nolan has to take a day and write a book, though he'll need a couple new keyboards from it. Mark brings up that he thinks he's starting to develop powers, but his mom just says that's nice and asks for the potatoes. That night, Mark climbs onto his roof, since he knows that his dad can fly, so clearly he should be able to as well. After a moment's hesitation, he is jumping off of a roof after all, he does in fact learn he can fly. 2 weeks later, he stops his very first bank robbery in this really bad makeshift costume, complete with a bandana to hide his face. His dad watches and laughs at his outfit, but says that it's time that he took Mark to meet a guy who can help with costuming. And then they go to Art Rosenbaum's tailor shop. Prom dresses by day, nuclear-powered armorer by night. Always a good business choice. However, the suit that fits Mark is a bright yellow and orange that he just can't get behind. And Art asks if Mark's come up with a name yet. We then cut to Mark in school, generally just going about his day, until he stops a bully from being a standard comic bully and gets sent to the principal's office. The principal is on Mark's side since he did stop some bullying, but he doesn't want to see Mark get hurt or go down a dark path. It's not his responsibility, and since that kid was twice his size, he could have been really hurt. He's not invincible after all. Yep, that's the eureka moment for Mark to know what he wants to be called as a superhero. The Bully Smasher. No. He debuts his new look, the black, yellow, and blue we see on the cover, and his name, Invincible, after he foils yet another bank robbery at the end of the book. As this is the first issue, there's a lot of things to get him from mild-mannered teen to invincible in this that can sometimes feel rushed, but as a setup, it's pretty rad. I still dislike starting in the future stuff that a lot of comics do, but aside from that, it's a solid starter issue. Mark is relatively every teen enough to not be the biggest tool on the planet, but still actually have a personality. The almost slice-of-life home life they share with Omni-Man before Mark develops powers works really well to show that he's not a bad guy. Yes, I know some spoilers for this series as a whole can change that. And even Debbie, his mom, takes being married to a super in stride, though we don't really see her reaction to Mark as a super in this issue, so we can't say for sure how okay she is with that. While there's not a lot of supporting characters in this, who we do see, at least in passing moments, can definitely grow into being interesting later. But honestly, Kirkman, as a writer, has always been someone who has never written a first issue to make me crave reading the second one. He's never had a bad first issue. I've yet to read a bad first issue from him, mind you, but this is a solid first step, and it's always the distance traveled with Kirkman's writing over explosive issue by issues. It's a unique parallel to the first issue of Savage Dragon. That'd be the miniseries Dragon, not the actual first issue, because that's a year or two of character development before getting into his own. Yet I think what can actually be taken from this, if I were doing this month just comparing how a decade changes a company, the art for this isn't bad, but it is very basic when you see how Image was like in the 90s. It's not bad art, mind you, just very standard, placing writing above the art. But there are a lot more to cover this day, so don't worry, the massive upload dumps should be over by April.